you have something yummy. So, Hala, I can barely see you, sweetie. Can you tilt?
Oh, can you see me now?
There you are.
Okay.
I see.
I have my regular glasses being repaired, so I have my prescription sunglasses. So forgive me for that.
That's okay. No forgiveness needed. I just want to be able to see your pretty face.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So let's get comfy. Let's start a conversation. Let's just take a breath and be here. And let's see who's here. This is kind of like romper room, you know. I see Barbara and I see Hala. I see Kim. Hi, Kim. Hi, Mary Jo. Hi, Meg. And this is Annie Kemp, one of my sisters in arms here. And so I also want to mention there are going to be some people who are not able to be with us. We're recording. So I want to say hi to Tracy, and I want to say hi to Molly. And I don't see Rebecca with us now. She may be with us. And Karen, who I know we're going to watch at some point. And anyone else who decides that they want to watch our recording, hi and welcome. Before we get started, let me just let you know that Bob is here. He is our tech guy, and he's running our technical show. So he's over yonder. There's his hand. See, if you have any questions about if you have any questions about managing the technical aspect, let us know. He's on, and if you go down in your chat window, you can ask him a question by just clicking on his name. You'll see a little kind of bubble down there at the bottom of your screen. If you click on it, you should be able to see who's on, and you can send him a question or just raise your hand and ask. So, welcome again, and here's Annie.
So let's take a few seconds to arrive in the present moment. This is a special time that you've set aside for yourself, and it's great when we can actually be in the now. So go ahead, let's take a moment and close your eyes. Feel the ground underneath you, whether it's the chair that you're sitting on or your feet feeling the ground under you. Gift yourself this special time and place and release the need to multitask. Bring your focus to your breath. Feel your breath and thank your body for what it does without you having to think about it. Again, releasing any of your to-dos, any tension in your body, and become aware of the part of you that's listening to my voice. Take a deep breath in, hold it, and now exhale. Let's do that one more time. Deep breath in, hold it, and exhale. And now open your eyes and welcome to the now. Let's begin with Fran. Please tell us how this all started.
Oh, well, I would love to. That's the best part. Before we do, though, I'm going to ask you all to use your mute your microphones while you're listening. And hopefully you all know how to do that. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Sorry I'm late.
That's okay.
But I'm here.
Yay.
Yay.
So we're going to ask you to mute your mics when you're not speaking. So, Hala, you can mute your mic on the left of your screen. Just there's a little microphone icon. Just click on that. It's on the bottom left.
I can't find it. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's okay.
Looks like she's using it.
Microphone.
Are you on a cell phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have the volume all to the bottom.
Okay, just tap your screen with your finger.
Okay.
And you should see to the left a little mute button or a little microphone icon that Nope, that's your room.
I can also mute them here.
You know what? Don't worry about it. Bob will mute for us.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. No apology needed. We're just we're gonna figure this out together as we go. So no worries. Okay.
All right, I'm just gonna go to another room. Hold on. Okay.
No, you're good. You're fine. And your camera's flipped around to the other in the other direction, so we want to see you. There.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay, we're good. So I'm Fran Demetrician. For those of you who don't know me, I don't think there are too many of us that don't know me, but this program has been an idea in my mind for a really, really long time. And I have to give credit where credit is due. There are actually two people on this webinar who were there the day that I brought up a conversation about this idea that I had about creating this program. We were at a retreat, and Mary Jo and Tracy, who's not with us today, Molly, who is also not with us, Karen, and Bob and I were sitting around a table. And I was sharing with these folks that this was something that I really had a passion for, and I wasn't really sure if I was the right person to deliver something like this. And I was having some doubts. And I have to say that it was Mary Jo in particular, who's smiling right now, who said, "What do you mean?" I'm going to quote you, I think. And if I'm wrong, forgive me. She said, "What do you mean you're not the right person to do it?" She said, "You need to just do it. Just go do it." And so I did. I started doing it, and actually Rebecca got on the phone with me right after, and she tried to help me with some of her ideas to help me kind of formulate my program, my outline for creating this very program. And I got underway, and I had to set it down for a little while. And then last year, Bob and I went to a conference where I met Annie Kemp and Christiane Machado, who is still not here. I don't know what happened to her. And the three of us really kind of became the completed circle for creating this program for you. We are the Golden Triangle, and we're going to tell you what the Golden Triangle aspect of all of this means very soon. But that's really how this kind of happened. And so I honor Mary Jo and Rebecca and the other people who were at the table with me that day, because this wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have done it without them. So that's my story for the moment. We're going to share a lot of stories together, hopefully. But without these ladies, this wouldn't be here. This wouldn't be happening. And I'm very grateful for that. So Annie's going to talk to you a little bit.
So I'm very excited to be here because this is, for me, being able to share what happens to me when I am gathered with women, and the amazing transformations that I've experienced that have actually changed how I create my life. And so I find that right now in the world, it is critical for women to be able to stand up, stand out, and lead. And so I feel that this is a part of creating that foundation for women, that we can get in touch with our femininity, with our mojo, and just be able to access it in order to make the world a better place, not only for ourselves, but for everyone else that is in our world. And so for me, it's teaching what I need to learn in the world, and sharing it, and being able to understand our divinity, our inherent beauty, and so many things that have held us back from understanding that for whatever reason. And so I truly, deeply believe in this work and its power. And so that's why I'm showing up. And Christiane is looking to join us. Her computer is giving her some glitches right now. So we'll hear from her when she joins us. So Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, sweetie. She's trying to click in. So let's give it just a second and see if we can get her. If we can get her in here with us. Sorry about the delay, you guys. This is what happens when you do these things. Oh,
She is.
yay! There you are. It's live TV, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not joke. Thank you. Oh, I made it.
Say
Oh,
hello to
beautiful.
everybody. Everyone, this is Christiani, and we just got to the part where you share. So if
There
you're
I am.
you're ready, take
Yes.
a breath and tell everyone who you are and what you're all about.
First of all, thank you, ladies, for joining us. It's a pleasure to be here. And so I am originally from Brazil, and I have been working with the feminine since I was born. I grew up in a very patriarchal society. Brazil is definitely a wonderful melting pot, but also very, very paternalistic. So I moved to the States about 19 years ago, and I went to massage school here. I really found myself, found my calling. I have been working with energy through the hands since I was 13. But here I really found that there was the work that I really wanted to do was to share self-healing, self-care, self-love. And I started working with myself to heal my own feminine and to support other women to do the same. So I started doing retreats around the world with Zumba. I'm a Zumba instructor as well, so dance is a big part and movement of what I do, and also yoga. And I also work with sacred cacao. So I have been exposed and to the feminine and to the beautiful work that it's very needed for our society. No wonder now there's so much of the feminine rise, because we are feeling it. So we are feeling the need to claim our power and our contribution to society, our contribution as being part of the solution and not the demise of our humanity. And I love when the Dalai Lama said, it was last year, that the Western woman will save the world. And I think it's by awakening ourselves, really touching into our divine, claiming that we have, and becoming less resistant, becoming less protective, less hardened, less resentful, and really getting to be more soft. And also learning to be flavorful, to be beautiful with our aging process. So I think one of the beauties of what we want to build together is really this looking forward to actually aging. As society has been telling us, oh, well, that's it, and life is over. Well, it's not the truth. It's actually just the beginning, because now we have this wonderful energy that is just ours. We no longer have to raise kids, or we no longer have to be serving everybody, and we can really use that energy and time for ourselves. So that's my intention with collaborating with these two gorgeous, wonderful women, is to create that safe space for us to explore that side of being a woman, of being feminine, and reawakening our mojo and not feeling like we're just going to the end. Yes, we are, but how about having fun in the meantime, right?
Right.
So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sweetie. I'm so glad you got here safe and sound through the airwaves. So in the time we have remaining, we're going to give you just a quick overview of the 4-part webinar that we've created. We're going to show you how each part will lay out, give you a sense of the direction we're going to be taking to awaken our mojo, our inner fire, and how that awakening or reawakening can enliven your life, your health, your sense of well-being, and just how you walk every day, how you show up. So the Intimate Possibilities webinar series is a 4-week program, 3 Sundays and 1 Saturday in May, and we will run from 1 to 12:30 p.m. So we tried to position these sessions so that it was in your day, so that it didn't mess up your whole day, and so that you could kind of set this time aside for just you. So that's why we kind of keep focusing on this being an opportunity to take care of yourself. This is an opportunity for you to set this time aside just for you. Close the door and just be there. Bring your coffee, your tea, your wine, whatever. Maybe not too much wine because we want you with us, but just time for you to be present for yourself and bond with some other people who are working on the same things that you are. So our first session is Sunday, May 6th. You might notice, like I said, that there are 3 Sundays and 1 Saturday. That Saturday is the Saturday of Mother's Day weekend. So we decided to, instead of doing it on Sunday, we wanted to make it convenient for everybody and make sure that people could attend. So we moved it to that Saturday, and hopefully that will work. So that is kind of, we're going to start sharing with you a little bit about what you can expect with our Intimate Possibilities, Discovering the Golden Triangle program. And so here we go. Annie?
So I want to talk about MOJO. So what is MOJO? It's our life force. It's what gets us out of bed or keeps us in bed. It's what we are without hesitation, without apology. It's embodying our feminine, bringing our signature expression that holds us unstoppably into what we are, who we are being, and what we are living. It is really what is our energy within the world. And so, speaking of unstoppable power, Fran, can you tell us about the Golden Triangle?
I would be delighted. So this is something that we're going to talk about more in depth when we start in the first session of the webinar. But what the Golden Triangle is essentially the part of you that holds the essential energy of your life force. And I'm going to ask you if you'd like to participate with me. So I'm going to demonstrate first and then ask you all to do the same. So I'm going to stand up. So my head's going to be here, but my body's going to be here, and I will show you. So let's see, I'll back up a little bit. So the Golden Triangle, as we have named it, is actually the part of your body that is in Eastern terms called the Dantian or the Hara. I think I need to be further back so you can see. So if you make a triangle with your hand and you place your 2 thumbs at your navel and you allow your fingertips to meet, this is the Golden Triangle. And this is where your power center lives. So in Tai Chi or in any of the martial arts, this is the center of where all of the chi gathers that eventually comes through us and out into the world. This is the spot. This is the place. So when you're learning any of the martial arts, you're taught to stand squarely on your feet and imagine all of the energy of the earth gathering right here. It's also not an accident that this is where all of our sexual energy is. This is where all of our impulses originate, and this is where the life force sort of swirls and dances and gathers so that we can move forward in our lives and be who we are. So I'm going to ask you all if you would stand, please, and find this spot on yourself, if you're comfortable. doing so. So take your thumbs, put them together, and let them arrive somewhere around your navel. And then just put your fingers together, fingertips together, and notice where your golden triangle is, where your dantian, your hara. This is your center of energy right here. So if you wouldn't mind, just take a deep breath and breathe into that space. And try and imagine how it's moving right into that little triangle and turning to gold. Turning into gold flecks of energy, just kind of spinning and spinning and spinning. And see if you can feel the energy of that moving down into your legs and up into your chest and into your neck and your head and all the way out through your body. Just feel the power of that energy center moving through you. Oh, it's really cool from here to see all of you in that position, holding that space. And take another deep breath in to this beautiful golden triangle. And breathe out all that golden light and energy into the world. And then come back and have a seat. Wow, that was really cool to see all those little triangles. Thank you. So that is the essence of our power center, and that's part of what we're going to be talking about as we go forward. Christiane is going to talk to you a little bit more about that.
Yes, guys, that's beautiful. Thank you, Fran. Yeah, so in the yogic traditions, that's also where our sacral chakra is, and that's where we house our sexuality, that's where we house our creativity, and that deep sense of nurturing, of creation, that it's inherent of the feminine. Even if we have different sexual orientation, that is where our feminine resides. So that's why it's such an important primordial space for us to communicate from. Right? So it's beautiful. And I love going back to like the Dalai Lama phrase that really stuck with me. And I really looked deep into it, why he says that the Western women will rule the world and why we are the ones saving the world is because we got very unbalanced. We got to be very powerful. We are go-getters. We don't need no man. We got this. We can do it all. And it's all true and it's all wonderful. And I think it's so divine that we found that to be true, that we can do it all. And yet we don't want to. And that's okay. And really, I think now the work that is so much of the feminine rise is to get back to being softer, to get back to being sensual, to being, you know, feminine, and to be vulnerable to, and to learn how to ask for support from our partners and families. So I think that's why he says that, because we went way up there in the pendulum. We got very strong, very powerful. We did lose a little bit, and we did become a little bit of resentful, you know, where we just really push our partners to the side, like, no, you got no space here. And we resent. We do it all. Yes, we can, but we don't want to. And I don't think we have to. So it's really returning to that. And I think that's where our mojo come in, because since we do everything, we tend to not feel energetic because we always juggling everything. So really learning the vulnerability to ask for support when it's needed. It's also something that we do talk about on our intimate conversations. And then we look into session 3, we're going to be talking about beliefs and emotions when we get there. And it's one of my favorite parts to talk about. We did base some of our program in infinite possibilities, and there is a part that is really dear to my heart, because our beliefs and our emotions are really what make us move forward, right? What we believe, we put intention into, we put energy. And a lot of the beliefs that we have, not necessarily are ours. We sometimes get beliefs from our mom and dad, from previous partners, from best friends, from teachers, from guides, from society. And we tend to not even ask ourselves, what do I believe? What is my idea of how the world works? And we don't take in consideration our emotions. Especially for me, I came from Brazil. Again, talking about emotions in Brazil, it's what we do, sometimes too much to a fault. It's my opinion, but it's important to acknowledge our emotion. That's our radar, right? That's really what tells us what's up. But I found that here in North America especially, it's something that we don't want to deal with. Emotions is like, oh no, I don't want to get angry, I don't get upset. No, you do. And that's your radar, that's your body telling you. So we feel all these emotions in our bodies. So that's one of the parts that we're going to have those intimate conversations and learn to be comfortable and actually be thankful for our emotions, because they really tell us if something is good, if something is not all right. And we got to learn again to trust that intuition, to trust our bodies, because with society and the way life got so fast, we lost that ability to be connected with our divine, with those inner guides, the inner teacher that resides in each and every one of us. And we stopped trusting that we know what is best for us. We're also going to talk about menopause. And it's such a big taboo, I find, in my circle of friends. When we talk about, all I hear is like, oh my God, it's horrible, and it's uncomfortable, and and I get it. It is, as every change that we go through, every transformation, of course. It's like the butterfly, right? Think of the butterfly in the cocoon. It's so tight and so, but I guess you put the butterfly like, no, I think there is a change needs to happen. I imagine that the butterfly goes like, oh my God, that is so tight, so uncomfortable. I think I want to stay. But then it's like, no, I want to grow. And that is uncomfortable. Same with the process of menopause, which is a natural process. It is a gift, because the heat that you feel, that I know it's uncomfortable, is also your inner fire. It's also your Shakti. That's your energy that you no longer have to use for somebody else. And you're no longer going to make babies. You're not going to be the need to menstruate anymore. So it's really to purify your body. So learning natural techniques, like for me, was all about the essential oils, all about meditating, and all about embracing it. Yes, it's hot. I'm sweaty. It's coming out of my head. Give me a moment. I need to breathe here. I'm purifying stuff. And those are the things that we're going to be talking about, and really create this beautiful nest for us to share experiences and to share how we all dealt with our transformation and becoming the butterflies that we now are. And there is no age appropriate on our talks. That's no such a thing. We don't do that, because if we are ageless, we are wonderful beings. So I'm extremely, extremely excited to have this program and to offer this to the fellow woman and the feminine. So it's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Thanks, Christiane. That's great. Thank you for that part. So actually, we jumped ahead a little bit because we want to answer these questions. How do we get there? How do we discover this deep part of ourselves? So what we wanted to do is give you a quick overview of the program. So Christiane basically told you about, I think that was the third session.
Yes.
Going to the first session, this is where we will actually open the conversation. And essentially what this whole effort is about is starting a conversation between sisters that might be a conversation we've avoided, or might be a conversation that maybe some of us don't have a person or a group in our lives that can hold or create a container to go into some of the things that are really maybe a little uncomfortable about being female right now. We actually have danced around, should this program have been for men as well? And I think that there needs to be a program like this for men. I'm not sure women necessarily are the ones to create that container, but I know for a fact that there are men out there who are creating a container like this so that men can talk about these things in a safe space. So this is just all about us girls right now. All right. So we are creating a container to have a conversation that for some people has been maybe a little bit uncomfortable, or for some people, they just want to talk about it. So let's talk about it. We'll spend some time introducing ourselves more deeply and going more deeply into the goals that we have set for each of these sessions. And then again, in the first session, we're going to talk about how intimacy and sexuality play such an enormous part in our sense of well-being. And that intimacy is not necessarily sexual intimacy, but intimacy in a much broader sense. Something like what we've got going here already, sitting here with you guys, creating the space for us to speak frankly from our hearts about the things that we love, about the things that we don't love so much, about being hot and sweaty, about whatever it is that's important to us, what's driving us or keeping us from moving forward or moving out. And celebrating, absolutely all about celebrating. So that's going to be session 1. And believe me, we have so many wonderful things to share with you that go beyond this webinar series, and we're going to talk about that later. So Annie's going to tell you a little bit about session 2.
Okay, so I talked about mojo. It's our energy. And a lot of us give our mojo to others instead of using it for ourselves. And so I talk about, we use session 2 to create or learn to create a sacred space. So what is sacred space? It's not just a church or a place. It's really about a place within ourselves and around us that protects us to be able to tune into our mojo, to create an environment that does support us and nurture us. And so if you just take a moment now and check in with your environment, do you feel safe right now? Do you feel disturbed? Is there a possibility that someone could come in and kind of upset your time and space right now? So being aware of that, but then as well setting aside time for you to have that every day to charge your battery. So what does that mean? That means not just that you can shut the door and just go to the bathroom and that's your only time that you have that time, or that it's not just the time that you're running to go do something for someone else. Maybe you're going to run and pick up grandkids or something from the store for somebody else. That's not really time for yourself, and that's not sacred space. So we'll talk about what sacred space is, how to create it, and then how to be within that space, within ourselves. How we, within our own bodies, having these sacred energies that we have, how to honor them, that we can charge them so that our mojo is even better and more pure, and that we're actually then heading in the direction we want to, which is our direction, not for someone else. So we'll talk about self-analysis as well, diving into the beliefs that Christiana was talking about. What is it that we believe, and where does that come from? And when we have created sacred space and are really coming from within ourselves, it's very easy for us to have those answers bubble up. And we can then kind of channel it out or get it out and find out, wow, that's my belief. Wait a minute, I've got to adjust that. As I talked about, reframing our lives can actually lead us to create the life we really want, that is really ours to claim. Then we'll dive into shifting what that means. And as Fran was saying, intimacy is not just about the bedroom. Intimacy is about the ability to have a relationship where we can be honest about how we really feel and what's really going on, where we can ask for that 90-degree turn because it's best for ourselves. So we'll start getting into that. And Christiane told us about session 3, where we talk about our emotions and get into those and talk about menopause and cultivating our divine self even further. So that is session 2 in a little overview of 3, which Christiane has shared. So Fran, session 4.
Yes. Also in 3, one of the most wonderful aspects we want to share with you is the idea of divine selfishness. And that is one of my favorite concepts that I'm hoping that we'll be able to help you guys cultivate in yourselves. So by the time we get to session 4, we're going to be ready to do stuff. So this is where we start taking action to make change. And we're going to be, you're going to be filling the blanks in terms of what the priorities are for you. What is it that you want to change? It could be about your relationships. It could be about your work life. It could be about how you care for yourself. It could be about how you express yourself sexually. You fill in the blanks, but we are going to make commitments to change the things we want to change. And then we're going to get into the actual stuff of waking up your mojo. And this is where, kind of the rubber meets the road a little bit, and kind of my favorite part, because this is where Mary Jo was encouraging me to really step out of my comfort zone in terms of and it's not even my comfort zone because I'm totally comfortable speaking about sexuality, speaking about the body, speaking about how to take care of our personal needs. And so we're going to get into that a little bit. By then we'll really be comfortable with each other, and we can laugh and we can try and we can look at things from maybe a slightly clinical, but maybe even more just with a great sense of humor. And most of all, very important with this entire process is a sense of curiosity. Because without curiosity, we just don't learn. We don't go anywhere. We don't do anything. Curiosity is kind of the tipping point for anything, especially making change. And if we're not curious about ourselves, we're kind of, I think, at least that's my opinion, we're kind of missing the whole point of being here in a body in the first place, because curiosity is kind of key to life. So, and then we're going to finish by talking about the magic of these aspects of our lives that they call the maiden, mother, queen, and crone aspects. And my feeling is that no matter where you are in that continuum, the aspects of all the others are alive in you. So I don't consider myself a maiden anymore in terms of my age and what my body's doing, but I am a maiden in so many ways. I'm a mother forever. There's no way I'm not a mother, even if you haven't given birth through your body. We're women, and women intrinsically have a sense of that. So there's the mother, there's the queen, and my husband, who's sitting right over here, will tell you that I'm a queen. It was his idea, not mine. But I feel like, it's okay for me to wear that mantle, to see myself that way. Sometimes better than others, but it's okay for all of us to wear that crown from time to time, or maybe every day. And then the crone, which is not an old lady with a big nose and things. Here's a crown. There she goes. Very nice on you. The crone is not this witch woman with a big mole hanging off her nose. Oh, another crown. The crone is the wisdom. The crone is the part of our lives where we have acquired tremendous and valuable wisdom. And I have to say that for me personally, I wear that. I use that. I love to share that with people who want to hear it. And I also love that I can set that down and be the maiden again. So we're going to talk more about that and ask you to share from your standpoint. How does that work in your life? How does that come up in your life? Is it hard? Is it easy? How can we help? That's what this whole program is about. And that's the name of that tune, my dears. Annie?
So we'd like to open it up. If there are any questions you want to share, what brought you here to this? Is there anything that you're looking to accomplish, or just even today's session? Just feel free. I think everyone's off mute too. So
we'd love to know if there's something you would like to have addressed in this program, or is there a need that we can meet?
This is Meg. Annie, you know me. I'm going to talk anyway, right? I think this is really exciting. And I think this is certainly a very needed platform. You're right. We have lost the women's circle of old, where it was the quilting circle or the sewing circle or the whatever circle. And that women have become more fragmented. And I'm confident that those women, our grandmothers, and maybe even our mothers, engaged in those conversations, maybe not as frankly as we will in this day and age, but I'm sure that they did have those conversations. And Christiana, you make a valid point too, that, we have taken on this role of being this powerful woman, and hell, we don't need anybody else. But the reality is that we do need other women. And when I'm hearing your, how you're seeing this program and the projection, my first thought was, this would be great. I want to do kind of like a home show thing without the sex toys, although that may come up in the conversation too later. But I can see this. I'm in a community where many of the people here are retired. They're 65 and older, and it's a very polite community. Let me just tell you that. It's a very polite community. But you know what? This would be a great Saturday afternoon, come and have coffee. Let's talk about women issues. Let's talk about real issues.
Yep.
And so I'm excited to go forward with this, to see how this all evolves with the three of you, and thinking to myself, wow, maybe this is something that I can do, with women in my community, and get the conversation started.
Meg, if I can share with you something. I'm 68, and I feel like one of the things that I struggle with and that makes me crazy is that people reach a certain, women, I'll just speak about women, reach a certain point in their lives where they think that they're no longer sexual beings. And I am not going that way. And that is exactly what this dream of mine was about. I do not feel that it's fair that we've been indoctrinated with this concept that we reach a certain point in our lives and we're no longer sexual beings. Because when you cut yourself off from that aspect of yourself, and I mean, I'm not talking about being promiscuous, and I'm talking about the part of oneself that lives through their sexuality, however that's expressed. menopause or peripause, and we all know how frustrating and how difficult it can be. My sister-in-law, Barbara, over there, and I have laughed our asses off about this and been frustrated and annoyed and sweating and for years. And we both had a long stretch of it, and I'm still doing it. And I think she's still doing it too.
Oh, yeah.
And that doesn't stop us from living from that part of ourselves. That is what the problem is. There's a disconnect in our training, in our consciousness in this culture, and probably in others, but I think mostly in ours, that you start this process and you stop living from your center. And that is where the passion is for me. That's the passion under this program for me and what started me on this path. So I'm excited with you, Meg, about the idea of taking this idea, this concept, this shift in consciousness, wherever it'll go. Please take it, teach it, because we need it. We all need it. So thank you for that feedback. I love hearing that. And it's very reassuring to me that there are other women who are wanting to perpetuate a completely different way of holding this part of our life. So, yay.
Yeah. And I think it's going back to what Max said, like the ancient traditions of women being together.
Right.
And we have wonderful tools now, not only in technology, but like to inspire each other. And that's why we're doing this work, because we feel it, right? We feel the need to connect, and we constantly, and yet there is some struggle with society and preconceived ideas of what aging is and what should be. And it's time that we break away from that. It's so much more than that. It's so much greater. So thank you for that. Yes, it's awesome. Yeah.
So thank you, everyone, for coming and showing up, not only for us to see you, but as well showing up for yourselves. We look forward to you joining us. Either it's, that we continue our relationships, or as a group as we move forward through this webinar. So thank you. Thank you so much for yourselves. We appreciate your
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody. And we hope that you'll join us for the webinar series. Feel free to reach out to any of us if you have any questions. Keep your eyes on the website and the Facebook page. And we didn't have a chance to tell you very much about the retreat that we're planning, but we are planning a residential retreat in Florida. We haven't got a date yet, but it's going to be amazing, 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 amazing. So much fun.
I'm going to have the opportunity
to that in your thought process. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. All the blessings.
Blessings. Thank you.
Thank you. Aho, ladies.
Bye. Thanks, MJ.
MJ.
Bye, everyone.
Oh,
have a great day.
Lovely.
Bye.
Have a wonderful day. Happy brunch.